Tulsi Gabbard took to Fox News tonight to discuss why it was so important for her to pursue this lawsuit against Hillary Clinton after Hillary Clinton accused Tulsi Gabbard of being a Russian asset. Let's talk about it. So at this point, many of you are aware that Tulsi Gabbard is suing Hillary Clinton, a defamation lawsuit, because Hillary Clinton alleged that Tulsi Gabbard, a sitting congresswoman, a foreign member of the Committee of Foreign Affairs, a former member of the Council of Foreign Relations, a current member of the Armed Services Committee, a current Armed Services member, two-time war veteran, a current major in the Army National Guard who has trained soldiers both here and abroad, that she somehow is a Russian asset, using absolutely no evidence to prove this. Now, Tulsi actually went on Tucker Carlson to discuss this claim because, God forbid we expect CNN or MSNBC or any of these other liberal news sites to actually do their due diligence when a presidential candidate and a sitting congresswoman is being smeared. So let's look at what Tulsi has to say about this situation with Hillary Clinton and why she felt it important and necessary to pursue this lawsuit.
Be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians.
Groomed by the Russians, Hillary says of Tulsi Gabbard. Well, this week, Gabbard filed a $50 million defamation suit against Hillary Clinton. We're happy to have Tulsi Gabbard join us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. You've sued Hillary Clinton.
Thanks,
no one saw that coming. Why are you doing it?
This is about my life. For so many people in the media, they're saying, oh, well, this is just another news story. But this is my life that we're talking about here. For me as a soldier, as every service member does, I took an oath of loyalty to our country, the country that I love, willing to put my life on the line for our country, deploying twice to the Middle East to do so, still serving in uniform in the Army National Guard today, now for almost 17 years. The essence of this service, this love of country, is who I am. So when you have someone as powerful as Hillary Clinton seeking to smear my reputation, essentially implying that I'm a traitor to the country that I love, what she essentially is doing is taking my life away. So what this lawsuit is about is actually valuing the honor and the loyalty and integrity that every one of our service members embodies and saying that no one can try to defame them. We will not allow that to go unchecked.
So Hillary Clinton said the other day that she's behind all Democrats, and of course she's the woman's candidate, the candidate of female empowerment. Why do you think she singled you out as a woman and accused you of colluding with a foreign government? I mean, that's not the Hillary they want us to think she is.
You know what, damn it, Tucker, that's a damn good question. Boy, we still trying to figure out. Look, she had some choice words about Jill Stein, too. What Hillary means by woman empowerment, ladies and gentlemen, I can answer this for Tulsi. She means empower Hillary Clinton as a woman. Not that she would empower any other woman unless that they are empowering Hillary Clinton. That's what. But I'll let Tulsi answer why she thinks that is.
I think it was a very clear and intentional message that if you dare to cross Hillary Clinton or her powerful allies, that you too will see your reputation smeared. You too will get the kind of false and baseless accusations that we've seen from Hillary towards me. It's an attempt to silence anyone who dares to cross her.
I mean, grooming you like you're the Manchurian candidate, like you've, gone to school in Moscow and are posing as an American. What do you think will happen in this lawsuit? What's her response been so far?
To my knowledge, we've not gotten any kind of official or unofficial response. I think it's important to point out that this is all happening in spite of the fact that, as I mentioned, I have been serving as a soldier now for our country for almost 17 years, deploying twice to the Middle East, serving in Congress for 7 going on 8 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees, dedicating my entire adult life in service to our country. All of this is aside, she still goes on and makes these claims that somehow implying I'm a traitor to the country that I love.
On the basis of no evidence. It looks like she's going to run for president. That's the sense you get. Her spokesman said she was open to it.
See, like, everybody feels like this now at this point. Like, if she's not running for president, in my humble opinion, you already know where I stand. I think she's running for vice president. I legitimately feel like if you need to know if Hillary Clinton is actually trying to make a run at the Oval Office, whether it be in the capacity of president or vice president, just follow this simple rule. If anybody has been part of this channel or been part of this network since at least 2016, the end of 2016, or even the beginning of 2017, then you know I've hit the nail on the head when it comes to this. I said Bernie Sanders is running for president. We were correct about that. I also said Tulsi was running for president. I had not talked to Tulsi. I had not talked to Bernie or anybody close to them. I just said, based off of what I've seen, they're running for president. I also said that Kamala Harris was running for president. Was correct about that. I said that Elizabeth Warren was running for president. Was correct about that. I said Cory Booker was running for president. Was correct about that. Did not know Buttigieg was running for president. That's because I had no idea who the hell Pete Buttigieg was. I also said Patrick Duvall was running for president, but Deval Patrick, was running for president, but that was for entirely different reasons. My point is, and it's the same reason that I am very confident that AOC actually blacks out Tulsi and jumped on the Bernie train when she did. It's the same reason. That's how I know she's running. She's trying to make a run at being the first female president, and that she's trying to be the youngest president in history. It's simple calculus. Are they trying to stay in public like to a ridiculous extent? Are they making everything a big deal? Will they can't get from behind the camera or from in front of the camera? Everything they do has to be national news. They are talking on podcasts, well, otherwise they wouldn't. They're bragging about every single piece of legislation they release. That is how you know someone is trying to make a run at the Oval Office, ladies and gentlemen. It's super easy to figure out whether or not somebody's trying to run for president or, stay in the public eye to be the vice president. It's super easy. That's why did we come to find out Elizabeth Warren in 2016 was offered or was talking to Hillary Clinton about a vice presidential spot, which is why she managed to stay in the public eye all the time, but never actually commit to a candidate until the California Democratic primary. Even though she knew it was rigged, even though she didn't say anything about that, even though she, quote unquote, at the time, most people thought she aligned with Bernie Sanders more than Hillary Clinton. Now we know, of course, that is absolutely not true, but she kept staying in the spotlight. When someone does that, as a key indicator that they have a greater goal in mind. That's why I always say, whatever you want to say about AOC, you can like her. Sometimes I like her politics. Sometimes I don't like her. Sometimes, a lot of times recently, I don't like her actions. I don't like how politically calculating she is. And when you combine that with the amount of attention she continues to garner for herself, making a lot of these issues about her and making sure she avoids negative backlash, like when she didn't defend Bernie last week, the moment that the situation with Warren popped off. And in fact, even going out of her way she was even liking tweets defending Warren. It's clear that AOC is running for president or is trying to set herself up to run for president. So she doesn't want to be seen in a negative light by your average neoliberal Democrat, which is fine, but just be honest and just kind of be more honest about your ambition. And don't people shouldn't just get, oh my God, I can't believe you say something like that. Oh, I can't believe it. No, she's ambitious or she wouldn't be a congresswoman. So there's that. And it's fine with being ambitious, but don't sacrifice your values in order to pursue your ambition. That's basically don't be ideologically inconsistent. So it's pretty clear in my opinion that Hillary Clinton is trying to run for president or vice president, and she's trying to set it up so that Biden selects her. She knows the only two people that will absolutely not select her are Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. Of course. So, of course, who are the only two candidates she's gone after? People will tell you everything through their actions without even having to say a word about what their actual goals are. Just something to keep in mind.
On this show, do you think she's considering getting in the race?
I have no idea. You know, I'm here in New Hampshire. I'm focused on our campaign. Election day in New Hampshire here is in 19 days. And I think the American people, what I'm hearing from across party lines, Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians are coming to our town halls every single day, disagreeing on some or even maybe many issues, but coming together around this central point that you and I often talk about how our country needs to stop waging these wasteful regime change wars. We need a commander-in-chief who will work to end this new Cold War and nuclear arms race and redirect our taxpayer dollars towards really serving the needs of people here at home. That is what I'm seeking to do as President Commander-in-Chief, and prepared to do so from day one.
People are shocked you sued her. I didn't find it shocking. She accused you of being groomed by a foreign power to subvert this country. So we're, of course, rooting for you in this. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks.
So once again, I mean, I got to give a shout out to Tucker Carlson for being one of the only decent people on television. And when it comes to actually giving fair coverage to Democratic primary candidates, and if there were Republican primary candidates, I'm sure he would give fair coverage to them, because honestly, for all the critiques I have about Tucker Carlson when it comes to social justice and economic issues, I cannot say that he has participated in censorship. I will not say that, because that's not true. In fact, sometimes I wish he would censor his damn mouth when it comes to social and economic issues, but at least he's consistent in that regard. Now, I want to talk about something that I think has, when Tulsi said, she said, Hillary Clinton is taking away my life. Now, a lot of people have taken that lightly. I've seen some people who have kind of lived in their own little bubble, right? They don't make really bold predictions. They don't participate in the dangerous politics. What I mean by dangerous politics is being bold enough to not only initiate change, but go all in, knowing what it can mean. For example, when we started the DNC fraud lawsuit, my life was immediately threatened. Hell, when I started investigating Hillary Clinton, and that investigation eventually turned into the DNC fraud lawsuit, and also was what yielded the information that we broke about the Hillary Clinton Victory Fund, I was threatened. My life was threatened. Tulsi, the first thing she was asked when she stepped down from the DNC and she decided to endorse Bernie Sanders, you know what they asked her? Everybody remembers, right? Well, aren't you worried about what Hillary Clinton will do? Well, you know, her response was, the Clintons don't scare me, right? But this is a reality that we live in. People need to understand, like, this isn't your run-of-the-mill smear. This isn't just some general presidential attack. When she says Hillary Clinton took her life away, that's a real issue. Tulsi has to beef up her security. That costs her money. And it won't stop after she stops running. You just labeled a sitting congresswoman an asset of a quote-unquote foreign adversary. Do you understand what that means? That means that you have officially put this sitting congresswoman's life in danger with your microphone. And you couldn't have been talking about anybody else, because you weren't talking about Elizabeth Warren, you weren't talking about Kamala Harris, you weren't talking about Amy Klobuchar, unless you're going to have your attorney say that you were, which I seriously doubt you do. And you were not talking about Jill Stein. You were talking about someone in the Democratic primary specifically. There's only one more woman left. And what I mean, unless you were talking about Marianne Williamson, and I'm sure she'd be more than willing to sue you as well. But I don't think you were talking about Marianne Williamson either. And once again, unless your attorneys are willing to say that, you called her a favorite of the Russians in a highly volatile and toxic era for a statement like that to be said with this Russophobia that's been happening. So anyone making light of this, I need you to get off your privileged high horse, please. Stop pretending like this is some average smear and put yourselves in the shoes of a person who is literally in the public eye all the time, who Hillary Clinton just called a favorite of an adversarial nation. You know who else has been smeared as that? Martin Luther King, MLK, right? Okay. Malcolm X has been smeared something like that. Angela Davis has been smeared as something like that. They smeared Jill Stein. They smeared Henry Wallace the same exact way, actually. The exact same way. They would call him Russia's favorite vice president. Crazy, right? Coming from conservative Democrats like Hillary Clinton. This is not like I'm glad some of you feel comfortable enough to make light of this situation, but it is not something to make light of. And what she said, once again, is absolutely true. If they can smear her after she just went through all of her credentials, and now, no matter, despite her putting her life on the line for this country, despite her being a sitting congresswoman, despite her having a top secret clearance, despite her being on the Committee of Foreign Affairs at one point, despite her being on the Armed Services Committee, despite her being all about peace, love, and aloha, despite her swearing an allegiance and an oath, not only as a service member, but also as a congresswoman, despite all of that, her life is now in danger because of one woman's interview. And somehow, some way, there have even been progressives. There have been progressives who have been saying, "Oh, this lawsuit's kind of crazy. This lawsuit's kind of crazy." Really? A lawsuit where you feel your life has been put in danger, where your entire character, which is your brand, by the way, and therefore, as a politician, your career has been brought into question. Your loyalty to your country, which once again, as a politician, this is part of your career, has been brought into question. And that's a foolish lawsuit. That's a frivolous lawsuit. Come on, people. There are progressives who said this, man. There are progressives, and it disappoints me. Whenever they want to defend Bernie, and that's what disappoints me, man, is whenever these people want to defend Bernie, they will create a bigger story than what it is to defend him. They will. They're like, "Oh my God, this one person said it. Oh, I can't believe everybody's saying this. Oh, it's so," like, there's been nobody that's been more maligned than Tulsi Gabbard has in this entire presidential race. Nobody, not a single person. Period. And then when she literally has her life put in danger in a very similar way, like remember when Trump tried to use his platform to insinuate that somehow because Ilhan is Muslim, therefore she's connected to 9/11. It's a similar situation. Tulsi used her vast platform to insinuate that a sitting congresswoman and a presidential candidate is an asset of Russia. And once again, a highly volatile and toxic environment that we are in right now. When Trump did it, everybody jumped to his defense. Or, to attack him, to critique him, to criticize him. Rightfully so. But now Tulsi's not only not putting up with it, but she's actually doing this thing. I know that some people aren't used to this. I know some progressives have not grown used to this yet, but she's doing this thing called accountability of the elites. I know it's a foreign concept. I get it. But it's a concept you should get used to, and you could get used to if you stop blinding yourself to whatever blind allegiances that you formed based off of whatever is politically convenient for you. Because I know for a lot of people, I want to be very clear about this. I like a lot of progressives, but they're not fighters. They're not in the trenches. And that's why it's so hard for them to comprehend why someone would make a sacrifice that Tulsi Gabbard or others have made. Why not just talk from your pulpit, talk from your podium, wave your hands around, and make things happen? They can't comprehend just the gravity of conviction it requires to be as staunch of a fighter against the establishment as Tulsi is, especially when you've left the establishment. You had everything promised to you and you gave it up, only to have it thrown in your face in the way that it has been by Hillary Clinton and some progressive allies, like I said. There has to be a line, people. And I encourage you all, if you see people trying to make light of this lawsuit, bro, educate them. Like, I don't understand. Could you imagine Like whenever who was it that was it Eisenhower that was caught monitoring, or was it Hoover? Was it Eisenhower or Hoover that was caught monitoring MLK? Could you imagine when MLK spoke out about it, and if he would have threatened a lawsuit against the government? Could you imagine people being mad at Martin Luther King or making light of Martin Luther King if he sued the government for spying on him and calling him a quote unquote communist or a Russian sympathizer at that time? Could you imagine? No, you can never imagine that. No, you couldn't, because it'd be ridiculous. He would have the unequivocal support of the left. Unequivocal. It wouldn't even be a thought. But see, Tulsi stands in the way of the aspirations of many people out there. And every single decision that is made, every single statement that is made, every single comment, every single analysis of Tulsi, when they've made it clear that where they want her to the side. They want her behind. They don't want her in front because they do not stand to directly benefit from her being in front. And she might do something like actually call them to action, call them to fight. God forbid these people take their microphones, push it to the side, and get out into these damn streets. God forbid that, right? Because then you might hold them accountable. Where were you at? I didn't see you there. I didn't see you at that protest. I didn't see you outside the White House protesting that rally. I didn't see you there. God forbid they have to fight. Tim Black was kind of making light of it. Of course Tim was making light of it. What's new? Everything that happens to Bernie is the biggest deal in the world. Everything that happens to Tulsi is not a big deal. Unless she said, just like with when Joe Biden apologized and literally said when Bernie Sanders apologized to Joe Biden and literally said Biden is not corrupt in his eyes. Bro, what? And then Tim goes on to defend that, and many progressives went on to defend that and make light of it. But when Tulsi literally was really attacking Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris for playing identity politics by disingenuously trying to attack Joe Biden, right? They weren't actually attacking him on the substance. They were attacking him based off of nonsense. And Tulsi came out and attacked them for it. They were like, she's canceled. Let me do a 15-minute video about why we can't have Tulsi. This is my problem with Tulsi. This is why I can't trust Tulsi. Da, 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 da. I don't take these people seriously, man. If I remember when they tried to allege something very similar like this to Bernie, about Bernie. It wasn't Hillary directly, however, but it was some of the Democratic Party members. I took it as seriously then as I do now, because it is a big deal. Every single day, Bernie's life is in danger. He's running for president. You should not make light of that. Every single day, Tulsi's life is in danger in an entirely different way, because not only is she running for president, but she's speaking out against the military-industrial complex, and she has no problem going toe-to-toe with Hillary Clinton rhetorically, which is a whole different avenue that you have to recognize. It's a dimension that can't go unchecked. And for anyone, like, it's just unfathomable to me for anyone to make light of this situation. I was on Fault Lines this morning with Garland Nixon and Lee Stranahan. And we were talking about this. Like, we couldn't believe that there were people out there who were making light of this. I couldn't believe it. Whenever I first heard about people making light, I was like, for real? Are you sure? Sure enough. There have been people out there, and I ain't gonna call no names, but y'all know who you are. There have been people out there making light of a woman, of Hillary Clinton threatening a sitting congressperson, a current presidential candidate, not threatening, excuse me, alleging that she is a splinter cell for the Russian government. Like, that doesn't put her life in immediate danger. In various ways I'm not even going to get into. But if you're looking for an excuse to get rid of somebody and then blame it on some wild Russia-phobe, looks like you got your excuse. That's the danger. That is the potential danger Hillary Clinton has put Tulsi Gabbard in. And it should not be taken lightly at all. And you should be ashamed of yourself if you are trying to take this lightly. So I'm glad Tulsi is showing some damn balls showing the testicular fortitude to actually stand up to Hillary Clinton, because we can't seem to get that from everybody else. I'm glad that she's fighting back, not with words, but with action, putting her time and labor power to fighting for what's right. Because like she said, if they can smear her like this, if they can do this to her, I don't have to wonder if they can do it to everybody else, because they've done it to me. They've done it to me already. So I know for a fact they can do it to anybody else. And they will, the moment you try to stand up to them. Somebody got to fight. And somebody gotta give credit for it when it's due. And that'll always be us. If nobody else will do it, I'll be damned if it's not going to be us. Because I know a fighter when I see one, and I will always respect a fighter over a politician. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into that live stream segment of Mikasa and Sukasa. Shout out to Tulsi. I hope you continue to fight. And for everybody else, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mikasa and Sukasa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the Rockfin app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.